Is that okay? I got it right here. My left foot. Okay, let's get started. Let me have your attention. Let's get started. Welcome to the University of Tennessee Nuclear Engineering Department Colloquium Program. My name is Lee Dodds, and it's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, who is Dr. Susana Navarro-Valenti, President and co-founder of Navarro Research and Engineering Incorporated. Susana received her MS and PhD in nuclear engineering, PhD in 1993 from RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute, and founded Navarro, the company Navarro, in 1993 while she was still an employee of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory. That's okay. We only shoot people to do that. It's not mine. We won't shoot this one.
They're going to shoot the speaker today.
Yeah, we left with the seminar.
Just wait till later. Okay, where was I? The company Navarro was co-founded by Susana and her husband Mark, who also has a PhD in nuclear engineering from RPI. And they have a 9-year-old son, John, whom I know when he was a few years younger. Their company has grown from the two co-founders in 1993, 2 employees, to over 200 today. I think Susana is an ideal role model, not only for women engineers, but also for male engineers. And she's been a tremendous success story, her company. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Susana Navarro.
Yeah, what I would like to talk to you about today is the history, the current status of the company, and what our plans for the future are. And currently, the company has become a full-service environmental company, and we are able to provide these services in nuclear sites across the DOE. It's heavily a Department of Energy contractor. We are headquartered in Oak Ridge, and but since early in the development of the company, we had a nationwide vision of expanding all over the DOE sites. So we were successful going at several locations, and including several nationwide. Richland, Washington, Denver, Las Vegas, Oakland, California, Los Alamos, Paducah, Portsmouth, and Oak Ridge. What I will describe is, well, first I think Professor Dodds gave some brief introduction about my background. I'm originally from Mexico City. I did my BS in engineering physics in Mexico, and then the master's and PhD from RPI. And also I work as a scientist at ORNL in the R&D and nuclear safety area. Originally, the first major contract that Navarro obtained was in Y-12 in Oak Ridge, the National Security Complex, and it was heavily focused on nuclear criticality safety services. In fact, I was looking at the wall here, and I was looking at the names, and I see a lot of names I recognize. So a lot of the criticality safety experts that we either work with or they have been our employees are in this wall. A lot of names I recognize. And the original contract that we obtained in Y-12 was heavily focus on supporting them on the development of their nuclear criticality safety evaluations and approvals, and basically, demonstrating adherence to the double contingency principle. In fact, this contract started with one individual only, and then we, as Dr. mentioned, we have grown to 200 employees nationwide. From services at Y12 in criticality safety, we then expanded to provide also criticality safety services in different locations, including another site here in Tennessee, nuclear fuel services, but other locations like Rocky Flats and Hanford, some locations here in Tennessee, ETTP and ORNL. So the company started as a niche contractor in criticality safety, but my vision from the beginning for the company was not to remain a niche company, but to broaden our capabilities and become a full service provider of environmental services. We expanded from criticality safety into environment safety and health services, and then into quality, and then into emergency management. For instance, right now we are supporting the Emergency Management Operations Act operations for DOE again. Now we are the QA contractor for DOE in Jack Mountain, and that's the geologic repository for the spent nuclear fuel. And our role in Jack Mountain is focused on several QA areas, such as verification and validation. We also audit the main management and operations contractor at Jack Mountain, who is Bechtel SAIC. We also audit the USGS activities related to Jack Mountain, and we also develop the QA and update the QA requirements for this program. You could say that the growth of Navarro is composed of three main stages. We started as a nuclear safety contractor, heavily on nuclear criticality safety. Then we expanded into more general technical services across the DOE complex, and then the stage that we are in right now is the full service environmental. This procurement was done in full and open environment, which means we competed not against other small businesses, but against large companies. So it's an unprecedented situation in the Department of Energy. We joined with another small business, formed a joint venture, and then just went after a very large procurement, competed against large companies. The support that we're providing in this large contract is for the Nevada test site, and basically it entails supporting the Department of Energy on their activities to because of the nuclear testing that occurred in the past. There has been some contamination either in the soils or in groundwater, and we are focused on supporting the Department of Energy on their cleanup efforts. These efforts include they're not only in Nevada, but also on several other states. It covers other 5 states, including Alaska. Our work is heavily focused on supporting the Department of Energy on characterizing the contamination in these facilities, but also supporting them on remedial actions, remediation, groundwater modeling in both in Las Vegas, in the Nevada test site, and in the other states. The capabilities that the company now has include environmental remediation, D&D, decommissioning and decontamination, waste management, environmental engineering, geology, hydrology. We also work on community relations. So from a very niche nuclear criticality safety contractor, we have broadened our capabilities to a full-blown environmental company. We still keep our very strong criticality safety expertise in a different division, and it's our intention to keep having very strong nuclear safety capabilities for the future. Navarro has been recognized in the national press. We were listed in the Inc. 500 magazine as one of the fastest growing one of the 500 fastest growing companies in the country. We were 55. As you can see, every year our revenue has almost doubled every year, and our plan is to continue that path. We are an 8A certified and woman-owned small business. What 8A certified means is we are the Small Business Administration provides certification for minority-owned companies, and we are certified. This only goes for like 9 years, this certification, and we have some contracts that are for minority, but a lot of our contracts are just plain competition, like the one where we competed against large businesses. And in there we have the ranking that we got in Inc. 500 because of our growth, which is 53rd nationwide, the fastest in Tennessee. And then also in Hispanic Business Magazine, we were ranked the 9th fastest growing. Our plans for the future are to become a main provider of environmental services in nuclear and non-nuclear facilities. We are currently heavily a Department of Energy contractor. We would like to expand into the Department of Defense and into NASA too. And so our plans is to broaden our client bases, and but we plan also to keep our strength and depth of expertise in the nuclear safety area. And thank you very much. I think maybe it's pretty short. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Yeah.
Can you talk about soil remediation? Can you explain the process of that?
Well, it's depending on what the contamination is and depending on what site it is, you use different processes, or sometimes it's not very high tech. I mean just take the soil and
that's what I was wondering. If it's the Nevada test site and there are these acres and hundreds, or I don't know how much, but all this acres of contaminated soil, do you just dig it up and go move it somewhere else?
Yeah, it's not very high-tech, the remediation of materials. Same thing as remediation or D&D, for instance, of a nuclear facility. You have a building that's contaminated with certain, nuclear material there, and what you do is you just tear down the buildings and send it to NTS, to the Nevada test site, where they have a disposal facility to take care of, there are many other facilities in Barrow Care. So we started in a very niche area, highly technical, and we still have that. And then environmental, is in some cases, like groundwater modeling, you do get into very technical areas, and we do have that too, especially in the Nevada test site where you have very deep, the water goes very deep, so you have a very big challenges on the well, not challenges, but it's a different kind of modeling and unique kind of modeling. So you do have some of the higher tech, but a lot of the remediation is just, get the dirt out and send it to somewhere, one of the facilities. So it's no high tech, no high tech at all in that case. So
Let me comment. The groundwater transport,
Yes.
it's solving the diffusive advective transport equation, which is trying to solve our traditional transport equation added to the diffusion equation in 3D and time dependent. And that's very complicated.
So you have, the contract in the Nevada test site, you have anywhere from the groundwater modeling, very sophisticated one, groundwater modeling, to just, cleanup, environmental cleanup. And that's why I was saying that we do want to keep the company with the very strong higher tech capabilities, but also we don't want to be a niche company that only does the higher. That's what we were, and actually in criticality safety, that's where, we have the highest expertise there. And it's a niche area because a lot of the nuclear engineering departments have been, having less enrollment in the past, and so there have been less students from, less graduates from nuclear engineering coming out and learning, the criticality area. So, in fact, that's what got us started. The fact that there was a need for criticality safety experts and not many people out there that could do it. So, I think that's encouraging for a lot of you that you get into a situation, I remember when I came out of school that we, at that time, the market was, we wonder, is there going to be a market for nuclear engineering? And over the years, I have seen, especially on the nuclear safety area, there is a high demand.
And June?
This is a very successful and amazing story. You're just out of school in 10 years. I'm curious, how do you deal with the funding problem during startup time?
We see, an entrepreneur takes a lot of risks, but I always plan, I didn't take a step unless I started with a contract first, and always had a contract before I make the next move. Okay, so originally instead of going out and hiring a lot of people and take a risk on that, I wore every hat possible, except the accounting area, but I did everything that needed to be done. Everything that needed to be done, I did, because, I was conservative in that sense, that if I had one contract, then I only spent, I didn't take risks on that. So we never had problems in the history of the company on being able to get funding for that growth. I guess it has a lot to do with us just jumping in and doing a lot of different jobs, and of course then after that we specialize more. But
what hats did Mark wear, your husband? You said you wore all the hats except accounting. Does that mean that he wore the accounting?
No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. No, Mark has been working in the Y12 contract from the beginning. Then he continued doing criticality safety work. He's the manager of our criticality safety. He's also an officer of the company. From the beginning, we decided, one, to grow the company, one, we had to focus on just full-time working on growing the company, and we decided it was going to be me, and he's a technical manager. Mm-hmm. So.
Are you intending to go public for the future?
Go public.
No, we don't have plans for that. We have plans. We have big plans. We do want to become a large company providing broad services, but not public. We don't have plans for that at the moment. No plans for that.
Okay, Mario.
And I happen to know that your doctoral thesis is highly theoretical and understandable by maybe like half a dozen people in the whole country. How did you feel to go from psychologically, how do you feel to go from something that you know so well to something that
Originally, my goal, since I was in grade school probably, was to be a professor. That was what I was going to be. That was what I was going to be, a professor. And in fact, I almost became a professor in the University of Madison, Wisconsin. But with dual career marriages, you know, it's difficult. So that's the reason I ended up going to the lab. And then after that, starting with the company, I realized I never thought I would enjoy doing that. I actually never thought I enjoy doing R&D very much. I mean, I like theoretical things and I like doing R&D. But as soon as I started, you know, bidding on work and doing more of the business side, I realized I enjoy it as much. Very much so. Very much so.
The big contractors, a lot of it is passed through. Passed through funds to $250 million contract.
Yeah.
Contract out. A lot of that.
We subcontract some of it, but a lot of the work is done by our employees, yes, by our employees. DOE in some places had used the management and integrator concept where a lot of it was just subcontracted, but they are not following that model anymore.
What is the first project moved to environment field, and in front of those big companies, how did you show your competence?
Oh, you know, it's one of the reasons of our success is that we never attempted to go into something that was completely outside. It had to be a logical step to what we were currently doing. So if we started with nuclear criticality, then the next logical step was to go to nuclear safety, authorization basis. Then the next logical step was safety and health. And then we never actually tried to go from one thing to something completely non-related. So once you started getting into the safety and health, and then some technical services, we started doing some of the groundwater modeling, some of the environmental issues, and then that's when we decided it's time to try to get a very large contract in the environmental area. So sometimes the mistake that is made is to try to go, you know, become broad services, but without a logical way of getting at that.
Any other questions? Christoph.
Yeah, if you go back to soil contamination, I want to just find out confirmation about environmental stuff. Do you also do phase 1 and phase 2 jobs?
Yeah, right now, this is the first job that we are going to do on actual remediation. So we in fact, in the next October 1st, we will be starting the contract. So we will be starting to see what the approaches will be to take in the specific areas that we have right now. So I don't know the answer. I don't know what approach we're going to be taking in these different areas. So, and also it's heavily, this new contract, we already have the key personnel there, but it starts on October 1st. And a lot of the work that we will start doing is more on the characterization and groundwater modeling. So the approach that we will be taking, it will be decided as we analyze what the contamination is and all of those things.
If you're in a growth mode and you want to keep doubling, that means you're going to be hiring more people, probably, right? Probably more engineers, in particular nuclear engineers.
In particular. Yes, in the areas of, yes.
Okay,
yes, we
good.
definitely will.
That's good. Okay. Any other questions or comments for Susana?
I mean, one thing that is important is the Q clearance. A lot of the employees that we have are Q clear, and it's a long process. But,
I know.
Yeah.
Takes a while. Any other questions or comments for Dr. Navarro-Valenti? Well, I think for once, I see no new faces in the audience. So everyone knows that we do have refreshments downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Everyone is invited, but before we adjourn, let's express our appreciation. Guys,
Maybe. Probably feel like that.
More, what is it?